Banksy shreds girl with balloon shortly after it sold for $1.4 million at Sotheby's last week. Welcome to Behind the Gavel with Jason. This week we're talking about that event in particular and other artist stunts throughout history on Behind the Gavel with Jason. I'm Jason Roski, the owner of the KC Auction Company here in Kansas City. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please post them here, send us a direct message, or give us a phone call or email and give you that information at the end of the video. But this week, we're going to be talking about artists' stunts throughout history, concentrating mainly on Banksy, because obviously his recent stunt has garnered incredible response and reaction from both the art world, investors world, and just curiosity seekers in general. Thanks for watching, honey. Good luck on your interview today. Appreciate you tuning in before you get ready for that. I'm going to share this on my page in just a second. So just to recap, hey Charles, how are you doing this morning? Thanks for watching. We're talking about Banksy's shredding of Girl with Balloon last week at Sotheby's and other artist stunts. So a quick recap for those of you who don't know it or have only heard parts of it. Last week, Sotheby's auction house in London sold a copy of Banksy's painting of Girl with Balloon. He produces several of each of these or variations on it. And the moment it sold, somebody enacted a mechanism inside the frame, and the painting dropped and was shred at the same time. And very, very interesting to have that happen. There's a lot of questions about it. Let me go ahead and share this on my page. There's a lot of questions about it because how the painting was supposedly originally sold 12 years ago. And Banksy immediately after the event occurred, I mean, within, I don't know, an hour or two on his Instagram account, posted a very well-edited video. He obviously was waiting for this, of him creating the shredder mechanism inside the frame. I have a lot of questions about this, but essentially what happened is as soon as the painting sold, somebody enacted a remote control, the painting drops and shreds, and you've probably seen the images all over the internet now, or the video itself, of this painting being shred moments after it sold. So let's talk about Banksy real quick, then we'll get to the actual item itself. Banksy is known for these great publicity stunts. He, famously set up a stall in New York City selling his original stencil works for $60 each. And after an entire day of selling, they sold $420 worth because somebody negotiated, I'll take two if you sell me two for one, and they said yes. So he is very, very, very in tune with poking fun at the art establishment, poking fun at the art world. And he came to fame, not because he was an artist per se, but because he put graffiti, street art, in places that you wouldn't expect to see it. And because and just over time, his work has taken on this mythical status in the art world, with good reason. Yeah, because of his braveness, grandiosity of putting these things in spectacular locations, huge stencil murals and other things. He's just become iconic, right? Much like Warhol back in the day, and Jean-Michel Basquiat, and Dali, and Picasso. I mean, he has put himself in a position where he is one of the guys, one of the artists in the world that is immediately recognized. I've had people this week who are not art collectors, who are not in the art world, who are not auctioneers, ask me what my opinion is of it, what's my take on it. And it's been very interesting to have these other people outside the world come in and say things to me. Hey, Bruce, thanks for watching. We're talking about Banksy shredding his Girl with Balloon this week. So quick rundown. Like I said, Sotheby sold it last Saturday for $1.4 million. As of this point, the consignor has not been identified or said anything. I think that's a very crucial element to this, very interesting element to it. If I was the consignor of that work, I would be very curious and suspect of what is going on, if indeed the consignor is somebody other than Banksy, which is, of course, a big, a lot of people are assuming or putting that theory out there that Banksy was behind the entirety of it. The purchaser, after the piece was sold, the purchaser, let me go to my pages right here. has said she's being referenced as an anonymous female collector who Sotheby's has a long-standing relationship with. So at first I was shocked, but then I began to realize that I would end up with my own piece of art history, which leads us more into what's going on since in just this 1 week, there have been dozens, if not hundreds of articles written in everywhere from ArtNet Daily, Forbes, The Guardian, New York Times, Washington Post. There's articles all over about this event. In just the last couple of days, Banksy is re-authenticating the work. His pest control is what his company, his overarching company is called, is re-authenticating the work, and it's going to be titled Love is in the Bin 2018. So basically they said that the work is a piece from today, even though in theory it was originally created 12 years ago or sold 12 years ago. But it's Love is in the Bin 2018. Rampant speculation that the piece is worth at least twice what it was sold for on last Saturday. And Sotheby's is claiming they had no clue, no idea that this was happening or was going to occur. But interestingly enough, in a rather, in an art auction, not very big, where the Banksy piece was one of the highlights. I think it was sold a record price for a Banksy piece at auction. It was the final item in the auction lineup that evening. Its placement in the auction house is also curious. It was right by the phone bank phone bank at Sotheby's. So the video shows the Sotheby's employees next to the Sotheby's sign, and it's dropping and being shred. That's all very curious. I mean, it seems almost too good to be true. That if this actually is just completely random and circumspect, it just seems really too good to be true that it was in that location, having that spot in the auction, and Sotheby's not knowing about it. How did they not feel the heft of the frame? Because it had to be heavier than a normal frame would have been for that piece. And so there's a lot of questions about it. Sotheby's is also this weekend. If you're in London, you can go to their new Bond Street galleries in London, and they'll have an open public viewing of Love is in the Bin at their galleries there in London on Saturday and Sunday this week. So there's a lot of interesting factoids around it. But this is by no means a new phenomenon. There have been artists pulling stunts and gaining publicity since forever. I know I've read stories about Italian Renaissance artists doing things so that they're seen by royalty and other artists aren't. You go back to the Impressionists. In 1874, their first show was in a gallery on a second floor as in response to the Salon, because they weren't getting the love, they weren't getting the recognition they felt they deserved. And so they created a showing, and he said, basically it was an early stunt to gain recognition for their work. They're like, we're going to go ahead and show these guys, we're going to put this together, kind of keep it underground, really grassroots. And because of that, obviously that movement really took hold. It was very successful, obviously, and their works all became synonymous with the movement. When you look at the original five, Monet, Degas, Pissarro, Renoir, and Sisley, all of those names are household names in the art industry. And if they hadn't done that stunt of their own show, which was really unheard of at that time, nobody would know who they were today. So it really is, Picasso did stunts, Warhol did stunts, Salvador Dali did stunts. Damien Hirst is famous for it. I mean, they created huge markets because of the stunts that they pulled. One of the things that they did is they bypassed the gallery system and right to auction back in 2008. And they sold $147 million worth in an evening, cutting out the Gagosian Gallery and others for millions of dollars in commission. Of course, that commission went to the auction house instead, which, yay, auctioneers, congratulations. But so it's really, really fascinating. If you have questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and post them here. Send us a direct message, phone call, email us later. I'll give you those information at the end. The stunt of shredding Girl with Balloon has taken on, it's being completely well received in areas outside of the art world. In just the last couple of days, several companies, Little Grocery Store, LIDL Grocery Store, they shredded an ad, one of the grocery flyer ads, posted on Instagram and said, They're asking 100,000 euros to start the bidding on their piece of art. Perrier has a picture of their Perrier lemon holding a balloon of a lemon going through a shredder, and then at the bottom it's just a lemon saying no need to break the bank for a work of art, kind of showing that the purity of their product is just lemon and water. McDonald's has an ad agency put on an image of a box of fries upside down going through a shredder. So the golden arches are upside down, and the fries are coming through. So it looks like the fries sticking on the box upside down. Going once, going fries, gone. IKEA has announced a do-it-yourself shredded art kit. I'm sure there are more. We're kind of thinking about what we can do here in the auction house to kind of have fun with that as well. So I think the big questions are, did Sotheby's know about it? How involved was Banksy? And is there really a consignor, and is there really a purchaser of this thing? I am sure that there will be investigation into this, right? If there actually is a consignor who consigned this work, who bought, owned, and consigned this work, they're feeling like they might feel like they're left out of profit. Honestly, the painting right now today is probably, the estimates are it's worth 2 to 3 times what it sold for. It would easily fetch $2 million plus because it's a unique piece and there's absolutely no others like it out there. And it's such an iconic piece now because that image is going to be seared in the brains of everybody who's in the Banksy world. And so if I was the consigner of that, I would feel maybe I was obligated to some of those, bonus or profits. The buyer, obviously she's thrilled because right now the painting is worth a lot more than she paid for it. If I was the auction house, it's a really fine line. So let's say they don't know what's going on. And of course, they're claiming that it was the first work in history ever created during a live art auction. That could be argued. I've been to auctions where painters actually painting, more benefit auction, but an artist is creating a work that they're selling at the time that it's being created. This is probably the first time a piece of art has been destroyed by an artist after it's sold. I'm sure that is the case on purpose. Accidents happen, obviously, but so there's a lot of really fascinating topics to really discuss, and we only have 15 minutes here on our weekly question. I might do more of this on the Behind the Gavel with Jason page because I could easily, this could be a really fascinating thing to really delve into as to, in the art world and in the auction world, it's really thought of as being a staid and true and, really solid kind of, above board industry. But there's a lot of things like this that can happen. And so is there room for it? Is he completely dismissing his buyers? Is he dismissing and snubbing his nose at the entire art community? Or is he just doing it for publicity to make his pieces sell for more money next time they come out? Really fascinating. I'm just thrilled with it. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm going to wrap this up in just a minute. See, I got the sweater vest on. It's fall weather here in Kansas City. Really thrilled with that. It's been raining all week, so I'm ready to see sunshine. But we're definitely getting to cooler temperatures and happy about that. Next week, we're going to be talking about selling special collections, large collections. We've had quite a bit of experience with that this year, and we're getting more calls on that. And so next week, we're going to be talking about things to do to prepare for that personally and what to expect out of an auctioneer or a liquidation professional if you're looking to sell or disperse of a major collection or a special collection, something that falls out of the normal realm of what auctioneers might handle. It's something that we really enjoy a lot. So again, Banksy shreds a $1.4 million painting moments after it sells. It's now worth twice that, and the copycats are happening. This is also hysterical. So that Banksy has produced prints and things like that over the years that have a lot of value on their own. Somebody shredded a print that was worth 40,000 euros, shredded it themselves, submitted it to artbroker.com, and said, "Hey, I want you to sell this with a minimum of 80,000 euro asking price." And Artbroker refused it for many reasons, but their quote says, "We have refused to list this item for a number of reasons. One of them being, we just can't believe the stupidity involved and the opportunistic vandalism." I think that's so funny. They call the potential seller stupid. And they were. Yeah, the fact that I shred up a copy of Burl with Balloon makes that picture worth nothing. It wouldn't make it worth more or less. The artist creating it is different because the artist actually had a hand in it. Whether you like it or not, the fact that Banksy did that does create a new piece of art, creates a new statement. It creates a new dialogue around his art and the art world in general, in particular. And I'm sure people like Dolly and Warhol and Picasso are all applauding him from the beyond for his ingenuity and opportunism and things like that. So, again, if you have questions, post them here. Send us a direct message. You can always call us at 816-283-3633. Send us an email, info@kcauctioncompany.com. Like I said, next week we're going to talk about selling major collections, special collections. If you have questions regarding that or anything else we've talked about or things we haven't talked about, we're always looking for new topics. I need to look. I think we're right about our 1 year anniversary. So I've done over right at 50 or so of these now. And, a Banksy event definitely helps. And the Da Vinci, the Salvator Mundi piece helped to, fill up a week or two here and there. But if you have questions or comments or thoughts, let me know what you're interested in hearing about. I'll be happy to talk to you about anything personally or through our videos here. Otherwise, have a great day. Have a great weekend. If you're in the Kansas City area, tomorrow, Saturday, here in the Kansas City area, I'll be up at the Kearney History Museum doing a lunch and learn appraisal event. For I think $25, you can hear a conservator speak about conserving paper and photographs and ephemera. Then I will speak about the state of the market, both in regards to buying and selling. And then I'll be appraising items for folks for tomorrow afternoon. That's up in Kearney, Missouri. There's an event on our Facebook page here. Again, all of our contact information as far as finding out about the event will help with that as well. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.